All right, guys, one of my best pieces of advice that I would always give people is bite off more than you can chew and then chew it. So I did that, and that put me a little bit behind, so I'm sorry about getting the rest of this stream breakdown with Mike Hollow, Tom Brady, and Bloodcount up. This is a continuation of that podcast, so you can watch the rest of this playlist to get the rest of the breakdown. We've been covering some pretty gnarly subject matter, and to put me through the suffering of hearing all that bad news, and yeah, we're gonna do some more, so buckle up, get ready for the party, and try not to be too depressed. Holy crap, guys, this is a hard one to get through, man. This interview between Tom Brady and Mike Hollow, discussion, debate, or what have you, with an actual developer from NetherRealm, has basically confirmed all of the awful things that we have been suspecting over the years, up to and including just being shady and incompetent. It's very tough for me to listen to this, because I'm just literally hearing how my favorite game as a child is being just dismantled before my very eyes, and I'm just having an existential crisis. It's yo, man, this is bad. Let's do more.
Now, I left.
Wow.
I left before
My
the
response.
game shipped, so again, I can't really say what happened during DLC.
Wow.
Look, he's shaking his head. He's laughing. If you missed the last part, I'm posting this as a playlist. Go back. That was a pretty big bombshell in the last video.
DLC.
Wow.
Well, that
Just to summarize, just in case. So, yeah, they're talking about how they hold back content for DLC. That's it. They do it. They hold back content, and they say, we will charge extra for this. It's already made. You guys are working on it, but we need to charge for this one.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't want anyone to get the wrong impression. It's nothing to do with you. I was just wondering if you had any idea
but
about it.
that happens a lot, where it's hey, this feature's not really working, but we want it in the game, so let's just put it on the back burner and come back to it, when we're fresh. And that's how sometimes you get stuff in expansion packs, whether that's Destiny 2 or Call of Duty or whatever. So
can I ask you about the crossplay situation as well? Because Mortal Kombat's is considered one of the big three, right? Tekken, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, and
sorry, I'm just I'm having a hard time containing my rage. I've just taken a break and had freaking 3 smokes, just to know that that's true, that they just.
In this day and age, crossplay for these kind of games is a given. Obviously, MK launched without it. Were you there at the time when they were talking about crossplay? Was there much discussion in the office?
I was also the guy that handled the GGPO for MKX, Injustice 2, and MK11.
Ooh,
and from what I remember...
Okay, so dude is a legit hero in my eyes with just that alone. I don't think you guys understand the undertaking that was putting GGPO in MKX. If he's the guy behind that, you're a legend, dude. Thank you.
Is with the new engine for MK1, they had to port over a bunch of stuff from GGPO and other stuff that allowed for that type of online connectivity or online features. And I think a lot of things took a lot of tinkering with. And I guess at the end of the day, they decided hey, let's just forego this, but still have it being worked on in the background. And then when it's ready, we'll, patch it in or whatever. Because that's kind of what happened with GGPO too, is, there were discussions during MKX where it's just hey, the online is ass. And we've got a lot of lag spikes and, all that stuff. So that's when.
So was that also the reason why you guys didn't have any lobbies or rooms, or?
I think so. Again, by the time I left, we in design.
That's why. That's why the online is so ass. The dude that made it is gone. It's like I'm literally playing both games right now, right? I played MK11, I'm playing MK1, we're alternating, and I can definitely see a difference in the quality of netcode between the two. And it was always like a suspicion, like, yo, dude, it's just different. It I don't know what it is, but I'm losing inputs. I'm getting stuff out that I don't want. This didn't happen in MK11. Like, what is this weird rollback? Why? Bro, is it an issue with porting the engine? No, the issue is the dude that made the good netcode ain't working there no more. He maybe worked on MK1, but who knows what they've done with it since he left.
We're mostly focusing more on the characters. There are other designers that were part of like invasion mode, and then there was the designers that were pure combat designers that did the characters. And I didn't really get into the politics or the meetings of like Warrior Shrine and the online lobbies and all that stuff. The only thing that I can think of what happened was that because with the new engine and the new technologies, and because the other games were built on a very heavily modified Unreal 3, basically trying to do the same thing in Unreal 4, takes a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of tinkering, and it just, it just didn't all come together all at once. It just was like a slow iteration.
Can I ask you another question? So you guys were on a time limit of putting the game out, basically, right?
Yeah, all games.
And basically you had to prioritize different areas more than others.
Yeah. Yeah, so like in game development, it doesn't matter if it's a fighting game studio or a shooter like Call of Duty or Devil May Cry or whatever. You're always going to have milestones, which could be a month long. Some people call them sprints. Other people call them milestones, or like the milestone will have multiple sprints inside it. And those sprints could be 3 days, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And you'll be assigned that, okay, in sprint alpha, you got to have this thing done and working, or, at least working to the point where it doesn't crash the game and create a bunch of bugs. And then for sprint...
You guys had a lot of bugs, man. And it was hard for me. It was even hard for me to defend y'all. Like, I'm not even going to sit here and lie to you. Man. Like from glitches to like matches desyncing, everything, man. Like, you guys have a lot of issues.
And I noticed that too when the game finally came out, and I was just like, wow,
Preach.
There are a lot of freaking bugs in this game. And from my working there, COVID did have us lose a lot of QA testers. I know that they also try to they also outsource. A lot of studios also outsource QA as well, like whether that's in Poland or Canada, they just outsource. And some of those people, like I've told Tom, are just like, they're not hardcore fighting game people. So a lot of them...
That's crazy. So you had people that was inexperienced with the game itself.
Well, yeah, I mean...
Just hearing him try to like corpo justify bad business practices and just bad art, right? Like, you're trying to create something that you want to convince people to spend their time and money on. And you know that is a very discriminating audience, a very discreet fan base. And so you are entrusting the creation of this product to amateurs. Like, you're literally taking the fate of Mortal Kombat, right? This game busts, and it did. It could potentially sink our business, right? Because the NetherRealm doesn't make other games. Injustice is just Mortal Kombat with DC characters, but that's what everybody calls it. It's just DC, Justice League, Mortal Kombat. They make one game, Mortal Kombat, and they either put a freaking karate skin on it or a Superman skin. And you're trying to build a fan base based on people who appreciate that specific product. And so when you're making sure that product works, you are putting you're like, this is what I'm saying. Like, Ed Boon doesn't even like his own IP. Because if he did and he cared, he would be like, yo, I'm not going to leave whether or not my game is functional in the hands of people who don't even know how it plays. Like, bro, that's like asking, your little brother who's 8 years old and has an aptitude for engineering to fix your car. It's like, yeah, he's pretty good considering the circumstances, and I'm sure he could probably figure it out. But I don't know that this is the optimal way we should be using our funding. I don't know if we should be hiring someone that doesn't know what they're doing but has the mental capacity to figure it out, right? Like they're offshoring the job of making sure the game works to people who don't play that game but do play games. That's why I said 8-year-old with an aptitude for engineering. It's like, yeah, he's pretty good at engineering. I don't know if he's good enough to make a car yet, and he's young, so there's time for him to learn. There's definitely the potential for that 8-year-old to make an amazing guitar, but it might take a while. And they're doing this on a time crunch. Like, do you guys understand how incompetent at business this whole system seems to be? It's like, you have bean counters running the ship, but like they're dumb. Like they're like really, really dumb. Like you're trying to make the most cheapest optimal product possible to maximize the most profit, and like you're not even getting that right. Like you're not even making the cheapest, most optimal product. It probably costs more in having to have the game sent back and forth to these freaking QA farms, right? Because they'll mess up something because they don't know what they're doing, and then you got to fix it and then send it back. Like, how much money is wasted on this whole process when they could have just like optimized better and had in-house people that know what they're doing? This guy clearly knows how to play these games, and yet his input is just ignored in favor of morons. That's how Mortal Kombat is made. The input of the actual expert is ignored in the favor of morons, and I still can't figure out why. We are how many parts into this like podcast, and I still can't figure out why they do the things that they do. And to me, it is a miracle. Like, somebody at Mortal Kombat Studios NetherRealm must be like super, super religious, because there is some divine intervention involved in keeping this studio afloat. I'm serious. Like, just listening to how they run their operations, and it's like, dude, this is like a bunch of chickens with no head, like just kind of faking it. Like, how have you not gone bankrupt and like actually failed before now? And all I can think of is, well, it's me. I'm the idiot. I keep buying these stupid games. And I'm just like really wondering why I got to keep doing that, because clearly they don't want me buying them, because they're going out of the way to make things as difficult for someone like me as possible to enjoy them and even play them, right? Like, we're talking about bugs here. We're talking about crashes here. We're talking about basic functionality. I put in the game, I download it on my hard drive, I push the button that says enter the Mortal Kombat, and then I cannot Mortal Kombat. Right? That's where a lot of people are to this day right now with this game, Mortal Kombat 1 Chaos Reigns. Like, yeah, I click the button, it doesn't play. Yeah, he's on my friends list. I invite him, and it says that we can't fight each other. Like, these are like core functional basic things. Is he on a PlayStation 5? Yeah, we're all both on PlayStation 5. Can't fight my buddy. I don't know why. He's on my friends list. I got a lobby. Like, basic things like, yo, we didn't have a player 2 in Mortal Kombat 1. Do you guys remember that? Do you remember when we didn't have a player 2? It was like 3 months, and it was like, yeah, you just kind of lose if you're player 2. Like, none of your combos or moves work. Like, they just don't work. So, like, yeah, they could do all their stuff to you, but, like, You can't do your stuff to them if you're on player 2, so you'll probably lose. Like, that was Mortal Kombat 1 for, like, the first 3 months of it existing. It was just like, yeah, you're probably going to lose if you're player 2. It just, don't be player 2. It doesn't exist. It's a single-player game. A fighting game. A fighting game! How long have I been ranting about this? Has it been 10 minutes? 14 minutes. All right, next clip.